Hello everyone, my name is Divya Dagar and today I'm going to take you through one of the most important strategy lecture where I'm going to make you introduce with the mistakes, the IELTS mistakes students make. Let me just tell you why I have specifically taken this topic, because throughout my observation, throughout my experience, I have observed that IELTS students do not get less score because of their weak English. They get less score because of avoidable mistakes. Yes, you heard it right, avoidable mistakes. So there are few mistakes I'll be talking in detail today just to let you know that there are few things that you can easily avoid, and avoiding these mistakes will take you to your desired score, to take you to the band 8 or band 9. So without wasting your time ahead, let's get started. So in this particular video lecture, I'm going to focus on overall prep of your IELTS examination. We'll be focusing the common mistakes usually students do in their listening, reading, writing and speaking. We'll be also focusing on the mistakes, based on their mindset. We'll be focusing on mistakes that they do when they are applying strategies, and the most important thing, mistakes that they do at the time of their examination. So the very first mistake is that students learn everything but practice nothing. I am sure many of you are preparing your IELTS examination, while those who are watching this video, and I am pretty sure that in a day you watch numbers of videos, you watch number of shorts and strategies just to make yourself comfortable, just to have that confident so that you can get your desired score. You are watching tips, but the most problematic thing is that you are not applying those strategies. See, knowing what to do, knowing how to do is not only thing that can help you. What you need to do is you need to apply at the same time. You need to understand if this strategy is telling you something to apply, make sure that you are applying it, make sure that you are practicing. Because of course, practice makes the man perfect. You are doing full length test instead of skill building. See, this is one of the most crazy thing I have seen in my student, that the students are crazy to take their test. Students are crazy to give number of mock tests. What I believe that, it's important to work on your skill building. IELTS examination is just about, your skills development. They just wanted to see that how good you are when it comes to speaking, reading, writing and listening. They don't want you to do a number of practice, do limited practice, but make sure that every day you are working on skill building. So what I suggest is, take few tests but work on your strategies or work on your skill building, so that whenever you are taking your mock test, you are able to give your best. For me, fear of making mistake, not speaking practice, right? Yes, this is again one of the common mistake that students are doing, that they always have a fear of being judged. They always have in their mind, if I'll do this, if I'll do that, what will happen? What examiner will think? What my classmates will think? See, you need to stop worrying about it, right? You need to stop worrying about your wrong English. The one thing that you need to focus is speak in English, right? Because speaking is the only thing that can help you to speak in English. So from today, I really want you to stop worrying how you are going to speak. Focus on your ideas and try to speak every single day. I'm going to tell you that within a week, you will see a drastic change in your speaking style. There are multiple strategies, I have taught in my previous lectures. For example, you can record yourself, you can, do a mirror practice. So multiple practice can be done and this problem can be sorted out. But yes, without doing this, you won't be able to get your desired score. How you can fix them? 20 minutes daily skill practice. What you can do is, instead of taking everyday mock test, just take one skill. Today, I'll be working on my speaking. Tomorrow, I'll be working on my writing. The day after, I'll be working on my reading. That's how you need to plan your day. That's how you need to plan your study. That's how you need to plan how you're going to organize your stuff. IELTS again is not about taking a number of tests, taking number of classes or taking numbers of videos and lectures. No, it's all about just knowing and implementing. So make sure whatever you are understanding, at the same time you are implementing. Speaking loud alone and shadowing interviews, again, this is one thing that can help you to improve your confidence. When I say speaking loud alone, I personally suggest my student, and believe me, they have drastically improved, right? Just stand in front of mirror, or maybe you can sit in front of mirror, doesn't matter, right? What you need to do is, you just need to speak to yourself. Stand in front of mirror, ask question, give answer and see how are you looking. Just see how are you sounding, right? And try to analyze some of the silliest errors that you are doing. Self-realization is really important. Once you understand the common mistakes that you are making, you will have these kind of mistakes in your mind for always, and you will try to speak with less error. You will keep all these mistakes in your mind and you will try to give your best. Another thing, do reading one passage with only one question type a day. As I've just mentioned here, you need to work on skill building. Most of the students do come, ma'am, this is the problematic area, MCQs is the problem, or matching heading is the problem. Instead of working for all 14 type of question, better you just take your, okay, today I'm just gonna work on matching heading, right? And do multiple practices. Just do 2, 3, 4 tests where you are only attempting matching heading. Try to understand every single time, why did I get the wrong answer? What did I miss? What wrong I have done with this particular question so that I'm not able to get it. What are the right answers you are getting? That's okay. I mean, that's not a concerning area. Right answers are always good and welcomed. But what you need to focus on the wrong areas, right? The wrong answers. Just try to understand what mistake you have done. Why did you get this wrong answer, or what information you have missed? Try to understand, try to analyze where are you going wrong instead of just jumping to the mock tests. Okay, now you just need to understand you need not to do more practice, you need to do more repetition, right? Repetition of skills. Talking about the another mistake is forcefully using fancy words. I am sure, right? This is, out of 10, 9 students are doing the same thing. They are forcing themselves to learn phrases, idioms, or the vocabulary that will make them different from the crowd. Let me tell you in short, IELTS is not about difficult English. IELTS is all about simple, clear and logical, reasoning. So make sure whatever you are speaking should be easy to understand, should be easy to follow. And of course, when you speak confidently, it will help you to maintain your fluency. For example, if I'll ask my student, right, to give good answers. So they try to say, I am extremely exaggerate, elucidate my opinion, right? Who says this like that? In your daily life, I am sure that you are not using these kind of words. And using these kind of words sometimes, leads to mispronunciation, sometimes take you to the wrong contextual meaning. So better you say, well, I'm really excited to share my opinion. So when you speak naturally, not only you are coming up with your natural English, but also it is helping you to maintain the modulation. It is helping you to maintain the stress at the right word. And when you are maintaining all these things, you are actually conveying what exactly you want to say, right? So here, why using fancy vocabulary is a bad idea, because it leads to wrong collocation, make answers sound memorized, of course, because nobody use these kind of English in their day-to-day life. And yes, it slow down your speaking, because when you are forcing yourself to learn good words, you try to memorize them. When you are trying to memorize at the time of your test, you take some time to understand that word and to speak that word. So make sure that you are speaking naturally, high frequency, band-aid vocabulary, and for that you can go to our previous videos and in our classes where you will see all these lectures or maybe the vocabularies. Another mistake, it's writing like a school essay. So before even I explain this, I really want you to take a moment and try to recall how you used to write essays when you were in school. Those long paragraphs, long introduction, writing somewhere 300, 400 words, asking for sheets again and again from the ma'am, and the other students are watching, okay, how much he or she is writing, and feeling like, okay, I have written this much and I'll be able to get definitely good score. Maybe I'll get a full score. So let me tell you, here in IELTS, writing essay is absolutely different. Here, examiner wants you to be particular. Examiner wants you to understand the question and exactly answer what is being asked. For example, if the question is, do you agree or disagree? Try to understand what examiner is asking you to present. He is asking you to choose a side by saying, do you agree or disagree? Another thing that they are asking you to talk about advantages and disadvantages. So examiner is asking you to write both the things. Then examiner may ask you, okay, tell me, do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? So first of all, accordingly, you have to develop your essay, and the most important thing, you have to focus on structured essay. So you have to avoid too long introduction. Try not to write every single thing into the introduction, right? Try not to write everything into the introduction. Make sure that you have a clear position. For example, if you are writing everything into the introduction, you will finding yourself, right? Somewhere you are answering the question, but you are not clear with the idea what exactly the point is and what points you are going to explain in the body paragraph. And when you try to write as much as you can, definitely you will repeat the information, right? And your paragraph will go, of course, out of the box. It will not follow any sequence. It will not follow any logical sense. And unnecessary, students write numbers of idioms, number of synonyms. So you need not to do that. Instead, you need to focus on the statement. You need to focus on the paragraph, that you should have introduction, you should have body paragraph, you should have conclusion, and each topic should have a topic sentence. For example, your introduction should have a reason why you are writing introduction. You are writing introduction just to let examiner know that you understood the topic. Now this is your opinion as per the topic, and these are the points that you are going to explain in your topic, right, or in your body paragraph. One idea per paragraph. So as I've just told, 4 paragraphs, so you can write down 2 body paragraphs. So make sure each body paragraph will focus only on one point which you will be explaining with example, right? And finally you will have a conclusion, right? But whenever you are writing examples, see, try to write down the examples that something you have experienced, something related to your real life, instead of writing something airy-fairy, writing something, unimaginary. So here, if your writing is not logical, it cannot be band 7+. So make sure they are not only seeing that how much you are writing, they are not only seeing how many words you have written, they're also seeing whatever you have written, how logically it's going, right? How smoothly it's flow, right? So that it is very easy to understand, and it is very easy to, understand that what are the points you have explained. So band 8, 7, 9, ask you to write a logically. Another mistake, if I say, not reading the question properly. Now, when I say not reading the question properly, again, this is one of the very common mistake, or I would say one of the dangerous mistake. No matter how hard you have practiced, no matter how well you have practiced or how much you have practiced, if you are not paying attention to the questions, if you are not paying attention to the instructions, like in listening, people or students do not take care of their word limit. In reading, they do not understand the key area or the keywords. In writing, they are avoiding what is being asked, and in speaking, they don't listen question carefully. So these are the avoidable mistakes that the students can do from the very first day when they are targeting 8 or 9 score, right? Make sure whenever you are doing listening before a set of question, always read the way you are supposed to answer the question and the words you are supposed to write. Always understand that there are strategies like skimming, scanning, detailed reading. Try to understand what you are supposed to do in skimming, what you are supposed to do in scanning, and try to understand the keywords, right? Do not read each and everything. Writing, as I've just mentioned, that they may ask you different questions and you have to develop your essay accordingly, right? If they are asking you to choose a side but you are writing both the side, if they're asking you to write one side heavier by supporting advantages, or by writing less about disadvantages, but you are not following it, you are writing both the things equally, so somewhere you are not achieving the task. Last but not the least, listen to the question very carefully so that you can answer exactly. Examiners are not looking or not sitting there to know how much you know and how much you can, how intelligent and knowledgeable you are. They just wanted to see how well do you understand the question, and after understanding the question, how well you are coming up with an organized, structured answer, right? And for that, listening question is really important. So you can fix that by keeping these points in your mind, right? You can have this QAC strategy. Now, what is QAC? No matter you are doing reading, writing, listening, speaking, just read the question, and after reading the question, ask yourself, am I exactly answering the same thing, or ask what exactly is required. What they are asking me to do. They are asking me to write down the 2-word answer. They are asking me to write down, do you agree or disagree? They are asking me to write down, they're asking me to write down skim the paragraph. And lastly, the C is check. Did I answer the complete question? Whatever the question you have been asked, first of all, see the requirement of the question, and lastly, you can ask yourself, did I answer the question? So by following this QAC strategy will help you to stay structured, will help you to stay organized, and that is what examiners are asking for. Next, number 5, pausing too much in speaking. Yes, this is one of the most common problem, specifically students face, that they take unnecessary pauses, right, while speaking. Now this can be because of many reasons. First of all, they translate from native language. I don't know how many of you, but this is something I frequently experience. Students do come and say, ki ma'am, it takes time because I think in Hindi and then I speak in English. right? This is one of the biggest mistakes students do. See, I always suggest them, English has no Hindi, Hindi has no English, right? What does it mean? English is a different language, Hindi is a different language. You cannot translate both. If you are doing this, you are just doing as per your convenience, as per your comfort. But I mean, English has not been made from Hindi, and Hindi is not from English, right? So they both are different languages. So if you are just doing this multitasking, you are thinking in Hindi or maybe in your native language and try to speak in English, of course it will take time. Not to you, even I will also take time that I'm doing two languages in my mind. What you can do is, you can start speaking simple sentences in your daily life, right? You can start speaking, I go there, I come, I sleep, I think, I go, I'm going there, I'm thinking. So start using, daily basic sentences, and gradually you will see that you have improved a lot and you are not now thinking in Hindi or directly speaking in English. Another thing is overthinking vocabulary. If you are the one ki ma'am, translation is not a problem, I can easily speak in English directly, but the problem is that somewhere I feel like that I am lacking words. You are absolutely not lacking words. Why you are taking pauses? Because you are thinking for fancy words, right? Everybody is aware of the basic words that they speak or in their day-to-day life. What makes them stop while speaking is that they unnecessarily use fancy vocabulary. Another thing, making sentence in advance. Don't make sentence in advance, specifically in your speaking cue card, I would say that. What I have seen, that 1 minute is given to you so that you can prepare yourself. So I have seen students are writing the entire sentences. The whole sentence they are writing, and they feel like, okay, at the time of speaking, I can simply see that and speak. So what happens when you're preparing sentences in advance, your mind got stuck to that particular sentence only. If you're able to remember this, you will be able to speak, but somehow if you will forget what I have written, I can assure you that you will not be able to speak anything on the spot, because आपका mind वहीं पर stuck हो जाता है. So try not to write anything in advance. Just have faith, right? Just be yourself and use some fillers. These fillers will give you time to think. For example, before starting the answer, you can say, well, let me think. Actually, what I believe. Honestly, I have not thought about it. Well, this is an interesting question. This is an amazing question. So all these fillers, will help you to be a pro student, which will allow you to buy some time and think for the answer. Focus on idea first, language second. Again, very common mistake. As I've just said, students, focus on their language, on their vocabulary. See, all these things are secondary. First, think for the ideas. If they're asking you, do you like cooking? So just tell me, think for the idea. Okay, yes, if I like cooking, so what is the reason? How I'm going to explain this? What example I will put here? Instead of what grammar, what vocabulary I will use. No, always think for idea first, grammar or your language second. If you will have an idea in your mind, you will be able to speak. You'll be able to come up with your language. Use simple sentence starters to gain confidence. When you start with a confident voice, when you start with a point or maybe the phrase that actually helps you to maintain your fluency and sounds, help you to sound confident speaker, you actually perform good. So instead of using unnecessary thing, better you start with a very simple phrases. Well, I would like to talk about personally, I believe. One of the example that I would like to share, start with the fillers that can help you to sound confident, not advanced. Okay, now another mistake is not managing time training. No time managed training. So again, see, you have overall 2 hours 44 minutes, right? The entire your entire IELTS test will take 2 hours 44 minutes. So let me just break down here. Let me first talk about the common issues, that they are taking unnecessary time in task 1. They panic in reading. In listening, they just listen and write the answer. They don't review, right? So here, if I talk about the timing, so what you can do? See, as I've just mentioned, you have 2 hours 44 minutes. In these 2 hours 44 minutes, you have 30 minutes listening. Okay, you already timed under time condition hota hai, so here you need not to work on your timings. Then you have 1 hour reading. Then again you have 1 hour writing, and finally you have 14 minutes of speaking. right? What you are supposed to do, as I've just mentioned, this and this is already under time condition. So यहाँ पर आपको timing का problem नहीं होता है, right? You will only face problem when it comes to writing and reading. So let me just, elaborate this. In writing, if I say, you will have two different tasks. You will have task 1, you will have task 2. Task 1 will ask you to write 150 words, whereas the task 2 will ask you to write 250 words, right? And for that, you will be given out of these 1 hour. For task 1 you have 20 minutes, and for task 2 you have 40 minutes. Now if you think, okay, you have enough time to write for task 1 20 minutes, enough time to write for task 2 for 40 minutes, you are mistaken, because that's how you need to work. आपको इस time को divide करना है. You need to break down this particular timing into 3 different parts. You will take 2 to 3 minutes, then 15 minutes, then again 2 to 3 minutes. Here you will take 5 to 7 minutes, then 30 minutes, then again 3 to 5 minutes. For what? For planning, writing and proofreading, right? You can here plan, here you can write, and here you can do proofreading. Here you can plan, here you can write, and here you can do proofreading. Right? That's how you need to do. Talking about reading, I would suggest you to spend equal time, 20 minutes or 20 minutes. If you think that, ma'am, this works well for me, I can do my passage 1 in 15 minutes, so you can do this also. Depends on your strategies, that how are you doing. But knowing the time, that how much time you should spend for planning, how much time you should spend for writing, and of course for proofreading, will help you to boost your score. You can mark my words, this is full proved strategies. Number 7, doing too many mock tests. Yes, it is again one of the common issues, See, students do come and the very first question they ask, ma'am, how many mock tests will I get? If I say 10, so they start making faces, only 10, ma'am, I need more, I want, at least 50, I want all the Cambridge books. And students are doing this. Believe me, they are, doing all the Cambridge books ke mock tests, right? Listen, stop. Don't do that. Why? Because you are not working on quantity, you are working for quality. There is no use, doing one test, not getting your desired score and jumping for the second one. Again, you are doing the second test, you are not getting your desired score, jumping for the third one. No. Instead of jumping and hopping to the other test, better you review your test. Better you understand the area where you have done mistakes, right? Understand the area which you can improve and eventually will help you to get good score. So it's not about doing multiple tests. Believe me, what you can do is, you can simply, plan 2 mock tests a week. I will take one test Monday, I'll take the another test on Thursday. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what you are supposed to do? You are supposed to work on skill focused learning. After, I took a test on Monday and I came to know my reading is not that good. So at least for the coming 2 days, work on your reading. You need to plan, you need to strategize your learning. You need not to work and hop on multiple videos, multiple mock tests or multiple strategies. No, just understand and try to implement, try to improve every day. Okay, so make sure that mock tests show your score, but practice shows your growth. And हम growth के लिए काम कर रहे हैं. Second, last, ignoring grammar and pronunciation. See, again, I'm sure that most of you are facing problem in grammar, but at the same time, I'm also aware that everybody is, those who are watching this video, those who are preparing for their IELTS examination, I'm sure they are good with their grammar. But the problem is they don't give importance to their grammar. They avoid using articles, they unnecessarily write tenses and make sentence complicated. They are, word stress unnatural, and sometimes when they write, it sounds like AI. It sounds like, a machine is speaking or writing. Just focus most common IELTS grammar structures, specifically your tenses, preposition, conjunctions, sentence structures, verbs, articles, right? All these areas you can work, and make sure record every day for a minute. Whenever you are practicing your grammar, just to improve, just to see your improvement, make sure that every single day you are practicing, recording and you are listening, how have you performed? And maybe after 10 days, just listen to the first recording and listen to the recording that you have done on the 10th day. I'm sure that you will see a drastic change. Second last is not understanding band descriptors. So I think I should say in very clear way, what you want and what examiner wants are different things. What do you want? You want to be fancy, you want to be fluent, you want to sound like a native speaker, you want to maintain your fluency, but stop. Examiner is not looking for that. Examiner is looking for accuracy, relevancy, clarity, fluency, and of course logic in your answer. So just work on the area what examiners are asking, because based on that you will be given score. IELTS test is not about how much you can speak, how much you can write, how much you can read and listen. It's about how do you read, how do you speak, right? And what do you speak, like all these things. So at least study band descriptor once in a week to understand the area, right? If you're doing speaking, just try to ask your question as per the band descriptor. Am I answering? Am I fulfilling all the requirements? Focus on range and accuracy. Now, if I talk about last but not the least, student try to become native speaker. I don't know how many of you, but I have seen students are crazy learning, accents. They want to speak in an active, a British accent, American accent. Let me tell you, it has nothing to do with your examination. Fake accent, forced vocabulary, memorized templates will actually, cut down your score. If you really want to be a good speaker, if you really want to get your desired score, so be yourself, have faith, speak on the spot, use clear Indian English, make ideas naturally, right? So IELTS is not about sounding foreign, right? It's about sounding clear. So just focus on clarity, focus on clear messages rather than making things complicated. These are the 10 mistakes that can be easily avoided, and I'm sure working off any of these mistakes will definitely help you to improve your score. So always remember, IELTS is not a test of English. It is a test of strategy, test of clarity, test of confidence, that how strategically, how clearly and how confidently you are coming up with your English language. It is not about difficult English. It is not about complicated English. It's about how organized you are, how clear you are with your ideas. Right, so I really hope that all these things will help you, and I am really looking forward that you will start implementing at least these 10 avoidable mistakes whenever you will plan. So you remember, students learn everything but prepare nothing or practice nothing. So I really want you to practice all these 10 mistakes, right? Try to avoid these mistakes, and I'm sure you will get your desired score. So I will see you soon in coming strategies video. Thanks for watching. Keep studying.